Hello and welcome to Straight to the Comments, where we read the comment sections of tabloid news articles. Please stay to the end of the video to hear my opinion on this topic, and of course let me know your opinion by leaving a comment. Please like and subscribe.
Businesswoman says she would never work with fat people because it shows a person has a troubled mind and lacks self-control, and argues phrases like big is beautiful validate toxic and harmful behavior patterns. Samantha Yardley, 34, from Coventry, is sub-editor at Muscle and Health magazine. She argues that society shouldn't validate someone for being very overweight. Insists she doesn't condone fat shaming, but wants to inspire positive change. A businesswoman has claimed she would never work with fat people because it shows the person has a troubled mind and lacks self-control. Samantha Yardley, 34, from Coventry, who is a freelance fitness writer and sub-editor at Muscle and Health magazine, argues that while different body types should be respected, society shouldn't validate someone for being overweight with phrases such as big is beautiful. She added that the way a person presents themselves appearance-wise says as much about them as their credentials. As a business person myself and former employer, would I work with extremely fat people? No, I wouldn't. Harsh but true. I'm sorry, she said. For me, at best it demonstrates a troubled mind, lacking self-control, and at worst it shows a severely disturbed individual who is likely to be lacking energy and suffering poor health. The way a person presents themselves physically says as much about them as the credentials they can list on a piece of paper. No, we shouldn't judge people based on beauty. However, as humans we can't hide extreme, debilitating gluttony because we wear it as layers of fat. That's biology, not bigotry. Samantha argued that, if you are unable to perform day-to-day tasks like taking a leisurely walk, getting up the stairs without being out of breath, or using generic seating at restaurants, then you have a big problem. Yes, different body types should be respected, and big is beautiful, to an extent, but severe extremes, be that dangerously under or overweight, should be treated as a condition that requires help, not commended or excused, she said. Pictures of Samantha. The highest rated comments. Lacks self-control. Is there self-control on the amount of makeup being worn, or doesn't that count as self-control? What an awful thing to say. I feel very sorry for her. She must be very troubled herself to say THST. Beautiful on the outside but pure poison on the inside. People remark that I'm skinny. I'm not. I'm in the middle of the healthy weight range for my height. The problem is that we've become so used to seeing overweight people that slenderness has become an anomaly. Hopefully this will be reversed. Oh please, some people don't have a choice through medical conditions. She really needs to get a life. You don't judge a book by its cover. Extremely negative and hurtful comments. Those who judge will never understand, and those who understand will never judge. I'm of the same opinion of women who love themselves and make assumptions about others. She's entitled to her opinion, whether it be right or wrong. It must wonderful to be perfect like her. Let's hope she doesn't become unwell in the future, and then she will realize how difficult life can be for some people. Shallow lady. I'd never work with someone who has too much makeup on, and obviously spends too much time on her appearance. Those people are usually shallow and self-centered. There, I've said it. The worst rated comments. I have the same opinion of smokers. It shows weakness. I have friends and colleagues who smoke, but when hiring people it's a negative for me. It's a strong feeling which I think goes back to my first job, when I was 16 working in a local newsagent's, and see old people spending their pension on large cartons of cigarettes with yellow calloused hands. She looks very beautiful and a perfect weight. She must be an excellent person to work with. They can't look after their bodies. How can they look after your business? Here, here. Samantha is beautiful. If you can't look after yourself, you are not going to look after my business. Also, anybody who is not doing their bit for the NHS by keeping their weight down is not sending a good message to customers. To be fair, she is stunning. It's not like she's throwing stones in a glass house. Well, what she says is true, but in these days of being very PC and trying not to upset people, these stupid phrases are becoming more prevalent. I'm a tad overweight myself, and just by looking in the mirror I can see clearly I would look better if I was a size or so smaller. Telling me that big is beautiful doesn't take away the facts that being big is unhealthy. Seeing all these huge people flashing their obesity doesn't make me feel any better. I'm in her corner. Definitely. She's right. She speaks a lot of sense. As a business owner, I wouldn't employ fat people either. Tell that to Buddha. The only toxic person is her. We all have a right to be happy in our own skin. I feel I'd have to pass on working with people who seek their 15 minimums of fame, or who haven't an unspoken thought. Wow, what a woman. This is exactly what men think on dating sites too. The most recent comments. I suspect the issue is with her. We do live in a free country. Free speech means some people will be offended whatever is said because we have intellectual/moral diversity of opinion. Democracy being channeled into the same opinion en masse is literally mind control. Marxism/communism. Her opinions won't make her popular, but she doesn't care, and nor would we if it was not in the news. At least she is honest, though not very tactful. But in reality, how many employers would choose to take on someone obese with their inherent medical problems? A person can still be beautiful at any size, but not because of their size. Don't forget, many medications and steroids for serious conditions can cause weight gain, even if people are not overeating, so being rude and calling folk greedy is not fair. The skinniest person I know never stops eating, and not all healthy stuff. I was very sick for months, and lived on tiny amounts of food, yet only lost about a stone. I'm hugely overweight, I admit. I've battled all my 49 years. But as a care support worker until recently, I was the most active, hardest working staff member, cleaning and cooking, while young staff lazed around on their phones. Such a sweeping generalization from this woman is not right. What an awful person. I think she is right. I also think she is older than 34. I completely agree. Personally, I don't think she goes far enough, and advise avoiding anyone who has had plastic surgery or wears makeup, as they clearly value deception and dishonesty. Oh. I work with a few massively overweight people at work, and never experienced any issues with them failing to meet deadlines, or causing environmental chaos. They seem perfectly fine. I bet she's a barrel of laughs to work with. ZZZZ. She doesn't condone fat shaming, but says they are severely disturbed, lack control and won't be able to work with them, etc. So if she's not fat shaming, then what is she doing? Who would want to work with such a rude, judgmental person as her? Self-discipline says a lot about a person. I can see her point, not the troubled mind part though. That's taking it a bit far. Bet she's a right nightmare to live with. The reality is that I'm overweight. However, not hugely, and I have been this way since a teenager. I don't overeat. Simple as that. I never have. The only way I can lose weight is through a very restrictive diet, 800 to 900 calories per day, and lots of exercise. For my wedding I trained 7 days per week, and ate 850 calories per day for 6 months, to fit in at a size 10 wedding dress. I have friends, and also my husband, who literally sit in front of me eating twice as much as I do, and who never put on weight. Weight gain has a lot to do with genes as well as what we eat. If you read medical journals, it is very clear that some people are naturally inclined to gain weight much more easily than others. That said, I do know a lot of fat people that overeat. I just hate the everyone has to overeat mentality, because I can guarantee in my experience the slim people in my life eat what they want, and much more than I do, without gaining weight.
That concludes the video. Please let me know what you think by leaving your own comment below. Personally, I don't agree with her simply because this has not been my experience in real life at all. Slackers at work come in all shapes and sizes, and some of the best, most hard-working and dependable coworkers I have ever had carried extra weight. But let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe.